Greater Memphis Media. TSD TV, Tri-State Defender.
You understand how important it is. You know, I watch a lot of stuff on Deion Sanders, and he's so motivating.
A complete and total failure of leadership from the federal government.
If anyone asks how it's going in the black community, you tell them we're rising.
Greater Memphis Media and TSD TV presents to you the Brian Clay Chronicles.
And welcome back to the Brian Clay Chronicles. I have the innate pleasure of interviewing the beautiful, the wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Janeen Gordon. Janeen, how's it
Who
going?
am I? Hey, Brian. How are you?
You're looking wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know I was supposed to do all the dressing up, but I kind of dress down in a dress up way.
That's all right. You're on the campaign trail. And
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, I had to hit the campaign trail.
Let's jump into it real quick. Janeen, you graduated from Central,
Yeah.
Graduated from Memphis State.
University of Memphis by the time I graduated. Don't you tell my age like that.
Yeah, I digress.
Okay.
Maybe I'm telling my age, but
We can do that
when
too.
you started, it was Memphis State, I think, and then it became.
It was University of
It was-
Memphis.
it had
When my
already-
mother started, it was
Oh,
Memphis
it was
State.
Memphis State.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very much Memphis
But
State.
when I graduated and when I started, it was University of Memphis.
Right, and you have had a wonderful career on television and communications throughout the entire gambit of spectrum of media.
Yeah,
And now you decide to run for juvenile court clerk.
yeah.
What made you want to run for office?
Well, here's the thing, and I have to go back a few years. I have to
Right.
take you way back. You know, we're going to
Okay.
go back down memory lane for maybe about 20 years.
Okay.
My mother has always been a public servant. You
Right.
know, she was participating in the Civil Rights March. My grandmother's great-grandmother's house was at 371 Walker. So it was at Walker and Mason. And so Mason Temple was right down the street. My mother participated in that. She got shot through her bun. You know, the bullet went through her bun. My grandmother was part of Eyes on the Prize. So my family has always been really immersed in politics, in public service, and really making sure they were doing the right thing for the community.
Right.
And so if you know how moms are,
We
they
know.
nudge you, they side-eye you, they call you, they try to make sure you're doing what they want you to do. And so for 20 plus years, my mother asked me to run for office.
And you had
I wouldn't
no
do
desire.
it. I wouldn't do it because I was still growing as a woman. I was still growing my career in radio and television. You know, I was doing national spots for Chevrolet, for the local companies as well. And then I was creating my own brand in television. You know, I was the traffic anchor, but then I became the host of my own show.
Bluff City Life.
Bluff City Life there on WMC, which was a first for WMC. And it went from a 30-minute show to an hour show. And so I was still growing as that person, that woman, and I wanted to make sure that I finished that task. I like to finish a task before I move on to something else.
Right.
And you know what happened? 2 years of a pandemic. It made you pause. It made me reassess. It made me reevaluate so that I could reignite the second phase in my life. You know, I'm about to be 50 years old.
You saw it and felt it coming? During
I saw it, and I wanted to tell my mom she was right the entire time. She was right, but I couldn't tell her she was right.
Right.
You know, I had to know that it was right for me. And so after all of that, the reevaluation, the sitting with many guests like you are with me and saying, what more needs to be done? How can we help? How can I make sure that everyone's watching and listening is able to participate in the process. But I had to ask those same questions of myself.
Right.
And when you ask those same questions of yourself, that's when the reassessment, the reevaluation, and then that reigniting of the second phase of your life begins. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I came to realization that as a public servant, I needed to step away from an amazing career.
An amazing career.
And I will tell people at the end of the day and at the beginning of the trail, radio and television were very good to me.
Right.
Very good. I interviewed presidents and other politicians
and
not-for-profits.
Yeah.
I've interviewed them all. Mm-hmm. But then I had to ask at the end of the day, before I went to bed and closed my eyes, was I, or could I, do more that was a little bit more impactful for this city and for this county? And as my mother planned to retire, I said, you know what? We had that conversation. I can step in as you move out, continue your legacy, but then create one of my own. And so that's how I got to this point.
For those that don't know, mm-hmm. Janeen, when she references her mother, she is talking about the world famous Janice Fully Love, who has served this community in a myriad of ways, not only from WDIA, mm-hmm. but to Memphis City Council,
mm-hmm. And the current juvenile court clerk.
And current juvenile court clerk.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, and that wonderful tapestry that you just alliterated, you had a man in the moment.
Yeah.
A man in the mirror moment.
A woman in the mirror.
A woman in the mirror. Well, of course, and a beautiful one. But why juvenile court clerk?
Well, it was only fitting. As my mother stepped aside, you know, I've watched her. I've been a part of so many of her campaigns. Although you never saw me, I was always there. And everything that she did, I was always there.
Right.
And so as she began her transition to retire, you know, there was a lot of information that I was privy to. And with that, it was, here's some of the other issues that are going on in juvenile court clerk.
Right.
I would love for you to step in and make it better.
What does a Gordon administration look like?
Well, once I win, we'll see what that Gordon administration looks like. So May 3rd, I will know what that Gordon administration will look like. And then May 4th, you can come and interview me again and we can talk about it.
What are some of the duties of juvenile court clerk?
So for a lot of people, and I, you know, even before I decided to run, people were thinking, juvenile court clerk, what do they do? The average person won't walk into the building there at 1616 Adams. The juvenile court clerk's role is an administrative role. So they are the keeper of the files. You think if you are going to pay a fine, pay a fee, the juvenile court clerk's office will collect it. The minute clerks, they go into the courtrooms to make sure everything is prepared, the dockets are ready. You know, the process servers, they're gonna go out, they're gonna serve those orders. The parent location department, they're gonna make sure those warrants, if you wanna turn yourself in, you can do that. Cost and collections, which is a big thing, fees and fines. But I will like to say, you know, in August of 2019, my mother, along with Mayor Lee Harris, along with Shelby County Sheriff Lee Bonner, and Judge Dan Michael, they at least eliminated the fees for those juveniles who are detained in that detention.
Let me stop you.
And so I applaud that.
You applaud that?
Yeah, I do.
Let me stop you there because what we got to do, we got to go to a commercial.
Okay.
And we want to.
We have to pay the bills, right?
We got to pay the bills.
Okay.
And we're going to come back to that.
Yeah.
And I want to discuss with you what innovative programs do you have in mind to elevate the juvenile court clerk's office and work with the judiciary.
Okay.
Is that cool?
It is.
We have Miss Janeen Gordon on the Brian Clay Chronicles, and we'll be right back.
We'll tease it with the collabo.
Family. Security. happiness. They had it all. A good life. Then, one day, the unexpected happened. And just like that, everything changed. Things spiraled downhill quickly. Suddenly, their lives were falling apart. They were facing the unknown. I'm attorney Ursula Woods. Call us at the bankruptcy law firm before it's too late. We can help you get back on track and give you the second chance that you deserve.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm attorney Monica Johnson, and let's talk about securing your legacy with a power of attorney and an advanced health directive. A power of attorney grants a named individual the authority to act on your behalf with respect to whatever matters are designated in the document. A durable power of attorney comes into effect or continues when you become incapacitated and unable to handle matters on your own. Let's switch gears and discuss how to ensure your desires are met when the time comes. An advanced health directive is a legal document in which a person specifies what actions can be taken with respect to their health when they can no longer speak for themselves. For example, would you like the doctors to take extreme life-saving measures to ensure your survival? What if your survival would result in you being in a vegetative state? What if amputation is required? These are all decisions that can be made in advance of a medical procedure or an unfortunate accident. Let's be proactive. Call me today, Attorney Monica Johnson, 901-325-0600, or visit me at attorneymonicajohnson.com.
And welcome back to the Brian Clay Chronicles. We have Miss Janeen Gordon as a guest. Miss Gordon, one of the things I want to ask you, you mentioned at the end some of the innovative things that your mother was able to implement as clerk during her tenure.
That hasn't ended. And
that
it will
hasn't
not- yeah.
ended at all. And let's make that clear. It
Yeah.
has not ended. What are some of the things that you foresee that you can do to streamline the juvenile court clerk system?
And I'm glad you said that word, streamline, because here's the thing. Here are a few things that I would like to make sure that are being implemented. You know, my mom put in to make sure that juvenile court clerk was being electronic by 2023. That was delayed. There were supposed to be 3 phases. They're now in what I call phase 2.5, heading into phase 3 to make sure that they really are able to do the e-filing for those attorneys, you know, and for many of our citizens as well. The other thing was the kiosk to make sure child support payments are being paid. They can be paid 24/7, but that is just now being implemented. And I know some other offices have already had the kiosk, but for juvenile court clerk, that office, it's new. Also, here's the other thing, you know, we outsourced, and I say we, but we as a county outsource child support payments to Maximus, which is a private firm. I would like to review that. That contract is up in 2023.
Yeah,
I would like to make
Maximus
sure.
is huge, isn't it?
Right. But I would still like to make sure that we're reviewing that because at the end of the day, you never know. We could bring jobs back, some jobs back to juvenile court clerk.
That
but
are
that's still a
being
review
outsourced.
process. Yeah.
So some of the jobs that the clerk's office has is outsourced to Maximus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For the child support payments. And the other thing I said before we left was collaboration. You know, before my mother stepped in, it was the judicial side, and that was the judge and the magistrates, and then it was the clerk's office. And she, because she is a bridge builder, found a way to make sure that they were collaborating at the end of the day. I want to continue that because the clerk's office and the judge side aren't really separate if you think about it. Because if we can't work together, then there's a problem.
Right.
So you have to be able to work with the judge who's in there, and they have to be able to work with the clerk side that's in there, because that's how you improve efficiency.
You look refreshed and just. And I know
Maybe because I don't have makeup on, Brian.
Well,
Stop
no, it's well, I can tell, and I've had, for full disclosure, I've had the pleasure of knowing Janeen for a while, but you look like you're just really motivated.
Can I tell you this? I told, and maybe I shouldn't tell this part, but my general manager of WMC Action News 5, when I told him that I was going to leave and I was going to run for office, and he said, wow, do you know what you're getting yourself into? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, but I feel good about it, because each person that I meet on the campaign trail energizes me just a little bit more.
Right.
They're excited about me running. They're excited about what I can bring. They're excited because I say, at the end of the day, you've watched me, you know what I am capable of doing, but I want to make sure that this office continues to operate with efficiency, integrity, and with my compassion. That's how I lead. That's how I've always been able to lead. But then being able to step away from getting up every morning at 3 and getting up every morning at 3:30 has refreshed me, because I feel like I've won Powerball. My birthday is engulfed in that, and it's also Christmas time. If I were, believing in Santa Claus coming together, that's how this campaign trail has re-energized me and my spirits, because I know and I see the good that happens when you do something not because it is a job, when you do something because it is for the need of the people of this city and this county to make it better. And I don't do it because I need anything from them. I do it because I know that I can provide something for them. A louder voice. Absolutely. Being able to collaborate with other elected officials, I see that promise as that little girl who went to vote with her grandmother when she was 5 years old, her great-grandmother. And so I see all of that in everything that I've done over the years. And man, this campaign trail has just brought it to light for me. And I know at the end of the day, I've selected the right path.
Amen. Tell the people real quick why they should vote for Janeen.
Okay, so which camera? 1, 2, 3. This one in the middle? Oh, look, everybody's pointing to one. Okay, I'll start here and I'll go here. So really, at the end of the day, I would hope that most of all, I would have your prayers, your support, and your donations. But this is why you should vote for me, because my experience in the private sector and being a journalist and a host of a lifestyle show has brought me a very diverse group of people that I have in my corner. But I also have those elected officials that I'll work with. And so at the end of the day, I'm a fact checker. I know about resources, and I know how to bridge the gap between others and myself. And that's what it means. It means collaborating with others. It means making sure that the children and the families who are there, part of the juvenile court clerk system, are being attended to. Efficiency, cross-training with the staff. And that's from everyone from my staff, the executive staff, all the way down to the supervisors and the managers and the person who just started yesterday. That means making sure that when you walk through the door, if you have to, that process is seamless and it's effortless. And so that's why you have to remember, at the end of the day, I lead with compassion, but you can't get over on your girl either. And integrity and efficiency will also lead. I thank you for your prayers, your support, but most of all, your vote. April. See, I'm going way somewhere else because I've already won May 3rd. Look what happens to your girl when she starts speaking the truth. April 13th through the 28th, early voting, and of course, Election Day is May 3rd. You can join me May 3rd as we celebrate. Brian, you too.
You know. We'll talk. The wonderful Janeen Gordon here on the Brian Clay Chronicles. Next, we have From the Bench with tart sugar.
Oh my God, Judge.
Pow, pow, pow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll be right back after this.